Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cooper, and today I will be reviewing the 1988 cult classic, They Live. Here in Corporationville, USA, it seems we have concepts like consumerism, conformity, and monotony shoved down our throats on a daily basis. If you don't feel as if you're experiencing that, just look at your clothes. Maybe you're wearing a pair of Nike shoes, a Pink Floyd t-shirt like me, a pair of shorts from Target. My friend, I hate to break it to you, but you're a walking advertisement. Still don't believe me? Where are you viewing this video? Yeah, the internet's free and it's not owned by one specific company, but how did you get here? Google? The YouTube app? Those are two big corporations. And what about the device you're viewing this on? Is it an Apple product? What about Microsoft? Maybe you're viewing this on your Samsung smart fridge. Finally, in the past day, how many ads have you received from YouTube? How have those ads had an effect on you, if at all? Did you buy any of these products if they have had an effect on you? Or maybe you now have a sudden craving for Big Mac and a Coke. Oh shoot, now I have a craving for a Big Mac and a Coke. Anyway, They Live dives into all of these concepts and more. Back in 1988, it was described as a horror movie due to some graphic and bloody content, as well as the overall creepy looks of the aliens throughout the movie. Although I personally would consider this more of a slow burn dystopian thriller. But there are no real frights at all, just freaky aliens that are only seen when the protagonist, Nada, played by Roddy Piper, finds and puts on a special pair of sunglasses. These sunglasses bear some heavy symbolism. They represent Nada waking up from a consumer sleep. Once he puts them on, all advertisements now sport phrases such as obey and consume, and bold black text on a white background. He also sees through all the people who normally would have been thought of as average, revealing a distorted, ornate skeletal face underneath. These people are both slaves to consumerism and those that enforce it, such as politicians and lawmakers. Furthermore, when Nada puts these sunglasses on, the color scheme of the movie goes from bright and saturated to black and white. In other words, the bubblegum capitalist world that we all see is only surface level. But digging deeper and seeing beyond the plastic and shimmering lights allows us to understand what is occurring behind the scenes. Although, my biggest gripe about this movie is once they, being the corporate aliens with the skeletal faces, are revealed, it takes a while for Nada and his companions to actually do anything about it. He starts to freak out, as one would, and lets some of his friends like Frank, who's played by Keith David, even wear his sunglasses. But it feels as if the inciting incident in the story structure is so abrupt and mind-boggling that the rising action and climax are just kind of lackluster. The falling action and resolution, though, are just flat-out backcrap insane. Warning, there's some slight spoilers ahead for the end of the movie. If you don't wish to see these, go ahead and skip forward to the 3:15 mark. Just look at this. We finally get to see the aliens in full color for the first time. With their blue, muscular, yet skeletal faces, they just look so distorted and weird, and yet it's just so amazing. You get to see society in its true light, with the fakeness of the media, the fakeness of politicians, and even the fakeness of the people around us. It's just an insane ending. But it drags on for a while, and it takes such a long time to get there. There's a lot of filler. Now, one thing about They Live that never fails to make me laugh is just how cheesy the dialogue and acting is. Like many other John Carpenter movies, Halloween being the first one that pops into my mind, the tone and plot is spectacular for the most part, while the actual dialogue and acting is kinda lacking. My absolute favorite line in this movie is, and I kid you not,
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Credit is most often given for this line to video game character Duke Nukem, but it actually originally comes from They Live. With all of this said, They Live is stylistically and tonally beautiful. It doesn't have super fleshed out characters, drags on at some points, and is superfluous with bad dialogue and acting. But something about it being so offbeat is what makes it so appealing to me. I would even go as far to say that this is my favorite cheesy 80s movie. It's definitely not my favorite 80s movie in general, by any means whatsoever. But with all the 80s movies out there that are often regarded as cheesy by today's standards, They Live is my favorite. So that brings me to my final overall review. Out of 100, I would give They Live a whopping 88%. However, if someone asked me to rate this film out of 10, I'd be willing to rate it up to a 9. It's definitely not the best movie I've ever seen, but I really like it, and it's my favorite overall cheesy 80s movie. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to stay tuned for future episodes, and as always, stay groovy.